Hello again, another boot review. This is the Hanwag Alaska GTX. So the GTX, as you probably all know, means that it's a GORE-TEX lined boot. I believe that they also make this in the LL, which is leather lined, which old school people would prefer because, you know, GORE-TEX liners a lot of the time stopped working, or I don't know if they actually split or what, but after several years of use they stopped working, and you're gonna put a beeswax, something like snow seal on the outside of the boot anyways to keep the water out. The seams are a little bit of a problem, but this is one piece upper. So this is more this boot's a little overkill for me because I don't hike long distance for multiple days very often, and I don't carry a heavy pack even if I'm going to do that. But for this is more developed for like long distance trekkers and hunters that are carrying heavy packs and have to carry a lot of gear. Go Hunt has a flex scale, and that seems to be the easiest one to use, which is 1 to 5, 1 being like a trail running shoe, and 5 being like a very, very stiff boot that would take crampons. This is actually a 4, so it's a really stiff boot. So, and then also having the leather upper, it's not going to be anything like the Tatra 2 GTX, which is, Tatra 2 is like 1, 2 flex. This is a 4. So it's a lot less flexible. That boot, you can, I have a set, and I'll show you what they look like in comparison to these. Actually, I'll do that right now. That's what the Tatra 2 looks like in comparison to the let's put it down on the table there so you can see, compared to the Alaska GTX. Full rand is nice because, like, I already these only have maybe 50 miles on them, maybe 70, and I've already marked it right there with a rock hit, whereas this rand would have protected the boot. But anyways, this is a really nice boot for somebody that needs that higher stability, and this one's a wide too, so it's not a completely fair comparison comparing it to the Tatra 2, but you can see that the sole is different. It has these reverse sole lugs that helps your traction going downhill, and most importantly, so your toe doesn't slip when you're going uphill. This is the Vibram Fuora sole on this, and you can see it's significantly different. But look at the footprint is significantly different too than the Tatra 2. It's a much wider footprint, and although this boot, the Tatra 2, is not a wide, this is a wide. So there's a little difference there. It's mostly in the toe box. When you get a wide from Hanwag, that's where the wideness comes in. And it's roomier on me. It's much better if I was going to be wearing 1 or 2 pairs of thick socks, thick wool socks. This would be much better. But where the hiking I do and where I live is, I don't really need I don't need insulation, and this boot is not insulated. They make a insulated version. But as you can see, there's the GORE-TEX lining fabric that they use, and this is calf skin, and it's ventilated. It's perforated on the outside so that you have that helps pull the moisture out from underneath the GORE-TEX and helps it vent out. That's an important feature. Now, one of the other, the 2 reasons this is not going to be as easy to break in is, of course, the stiffness, but also it has a full single piece of leather, whereas the Tatra has a separate piece. This first piece ends right here, and there's a second toe heel piece, and you have these splits here which give it more flexibility. So this boot you can hike 100 miles in right out of the box if it fits you right. But it also, all of these Hanwag boots come in four different widths, or four different style of lasts. And the normal last is a medium. They call it a standard, I believe, but they also make a wide last for all of their boots, and they make a bunion last, which gives the big toe extra space because that's where the bunion is. And they make a narrow for people that have narrow feet. But the standard last on a Hanwag is a roomy enough toe box. I really like the fit of it, and I have a medium, a normal size foot, and it fits perfect, and it gives you nice stability, but still gives your toes wiggle room. If you're going to be wearing thick wool socks, you may want to go to a wide if you have a medium foot. But if you're like living in Minnesota or Canada, and you're hiking a lot in cold temperatures, probably just go with a wide. That way you can have room for 2 layers of socks if you need to. Like all Hanwags, and there's only 1 or 2 other brands that do it, this has a ball bearing lacing system, which the whole lacing system tightens at the same time. So this is all these eyelets leading all the way up to the top. They have very little friction, so they tighten together, as you can kind of see there. It works better when you really put force on them. And then this is also leather. It feels like it's a calf skin. So you've got all of the features that you need for a very long-lasting boot. It has good absorption for heavy loads here. You're not going to feel a lot of shock absorption with this until you're carrying a heavy pack. For somebody like me, I weigh a lot, so I have to get boots that have, wearing trail running shoes, for instance, doesn't really work for me because they have too much cushion in them, and I just ruin those soles within about 200 to 300 miles. Really, they start going bad on me in the support department. But for heavy people and people that are packing a lot or climbing a lot and really want to protect their feet from having to wrap around any sharp rocks or anything, which makes you feel tired, this is a really good boot for that. And then if you just want the ultimate in support and protection, it's a very, very good boot for that too. They make a boot that's a little less stiff than this called the Ancash 2, that's a little less stiff, and it's not designed for the long treks quite as much as this boot does. It's a little bit different, curvy rand, a little higher across the heel. That's a nice boot also, less common than the Alaska. This is one of their most popular boots. But as far as other qualities go, Hanwags are some of the best boots that you're going to find without going custom. They're very, very nice finish and fit, and you can catch them on sale on Amazon. Even Hanwag has sales from time to time on their website, so check that out. Sometimes there's other big outdoor online retailers that carry the brand as well. It's a little bit harder to find in the U.S. than a lot of other brands, but I highly recommend going with Hanwag because it is one of the best you can buy, and the pricing is very similar to other brands that are high quality. There's a lot of cheaper brands that used to be high quality that are not anymore that you can get cheaper, but all these mainstream brands have mostly cheaped out on their manufacturing quality. So they've been riding on their reputation for years now, but people notice that really are hard on their shoes and boots. And this is not one of those brands. This is one that's maintained their quality. They're all made in Europe. They're made in Hungary, Croatia, Germany. I'm missing a couple of countries there, but they have decades of history with their manufacturers, and so this is nothing new. So I do recommend going with checking out Hanwag at least, and if you find something that works for you, that fits right, you're not going to go wrong with them. So I can't think of anything else that you would need to know about this boot. It does have a lockout. As I'm saying that, I'm thinking it has a lockout right here, so you can set you can set your laces, lock out here, and then you can adjust your ankle tension here, which is great because when you're not carrying a load, you may even want to wrap your laces around here and leave your ankle free so it can breathe more, and it's not putting any force on or any tension on your calf muscle or anything like that. That's another reason that the Tatra 2 is easier to use right out of the box. Is it just much lower ankle, as you can see, and it's got the cushy going down quite a ways. This is nowhere near as cushy through that area of the boot. But you have additional features here like the protection across the front of this, and you can actually see the thickness of the leather here too, which is I believe 2.2 to 2.6 Nubuck. And around the edges they shave the leather with a razor tool, so it doesn't appear as thick, but you can see how thick it is right there because they didn't shave that. So anyways, it's a very nice finish. I personally like full grain leather. That's my favorite. Full grain is not sanded. The very top of Nubuck is sanded. Full grain is going to have a little bit of a sheen to it, like a semi-gloss. But that is hard to find in hiking boots. It's definitely worth paying attention to if you come across boots that have that. But you got to make sure it's a quality manufacturer too. There's a lot of cheap boots or boots that are going offshore with their manufacturing. They're designed to look like quality. All the upper and the outside looks like it's a quality boot, but when you get into it and you really look closely, it's not a good quality boot. And that has to do with a lot of components on the boot, especially how they attach it to the sole. And these are attached very stoutly to the sole, and the rand, all that is going to be top notch. It's not going to delaminate on you like a lot of cheap boots will. The worst thing that can happen to you is have your boots fail when you're in the middle of nowhere on a mountain. So that's an unacceptable risk. So if you have any other questions, you can hit me in the comments. But that's about all I can think of for this one. Like my video if you wouldn't mind, if you liked it. If you don't, that's all right too. But we'll talk to you later.